I really hope our politicians and top public health officials use this holiday break to do just that, to have a break, to pause, to have a timeout, and to step back, reassess things, challenge their assumptions, and go back and ask, what is it you're actually trying to achieve? Because I think for a lot of them, they've maybe lost their perspective. And I feel for them. I genuinely do. I may not agree with every decision that they've been making, but I appreciate that it is frenzied out there for them. Up at the press conferences almost daily, tons of meetings. Some of them have been pretty honest and open about the fact they're hardly even sleeping. And I think that's probably been a large part of why they no longer have perspective. And I hope that during the holiday season, they and some of the other individuals out there who are caught up in this manic frenzy, more lockdowns, more restrictions, more panic, that they can pause and reassess things and ask themselves some questions. Some of those questions being, hey, remember what it was like during the first wave, when we hardly knew anything about this virus and we were afraid that anybody could get it at any time and get it seriously and die from it, including our children. Those were scary times. Many of us felt that way. I felt that way back in March. I didn't know what this thing was. Now we've actually answered a lot of those questions. We've learned that thankfully things are not as bad as we first feared they would be. What about other questions around, say, restrictions? There's a number of activities, businesses that have been shut down. And the question is, if you didn't have the data in the first place to tell you they should be shut down, and in many cases they didn't, places like gyms, places like retail outlets, they didn't actually seem to be causing spread. Well, you shut them down, and then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and so on, there's still the same number of cases or cases are rising. Well, maybe the shutdowns of those businesses didn't actually have any benefit. So do they still need to stay closed? Can you ask yourselves that? That's an important question to ask. Now that we're talking about vaccines, they're celebrating the fact that the first people in line are getting them. Okay, that's great. They're talking about the timeline to roll out more of the vaccines. Why are they not talking about the timeline for easing the restrictions? Come on, give us a plan about all of that. Do you seriously think that there needs to be 60, 70, 80% of the population vaccinated until you allow retail outlets to open again, when we really know that only about 10% of the population is at serious risk of having a severe outcome to this virus? There are a lot of these questions that they need to be asking themselves to reassess. And I think they maybe just haven't had that opportunity since March. And I really hope that they use the Christmas break to sit back and gain some perspective. And hopefully that'll inform their decision making. Because the other question they should be asking, and we should be all asking, is when you look at everything that's being done right now, do you believe that this is the only way it can be done? Or do you believe, oh, just possibly, that there could be a better way?